Could you outline the work you are doing in your country or region to reduce disaster risk?
Again, as ACSED is part of the Arab League of States, which is really a state which is a regional organization aiming at helping all the Arab countries for sustainable development. The main interest for ACSED for drylands is to do a lot of activities to reduce the risk. And since it is arid zone, so a lot of activities should be done to that direction. And I started 2002 at ACSED, and 2003 I started to initiate the regional early warning system at ACSED, which aiming at monitoring and assessing land degradation for taking the measures for rehabilitation process. At the meantime, recently, 2008, we started at the Arab League, and ACSED was active part on that, to draw the framework of the Arab Action Plan for working on dealing with climate change. In fact, about 20 regional and international organizations participated on that activity, and we came out with action plan including programs and activities in 10 different sectors. Above them, climate, land, water, biodiversity, agriculture, forests, industry, constructions, energy, transportation, and many cross-cutting issues like most important for us is risk reduction. Beside media, besides the intervention of the governments, NGOs, private sectors, insurance systems, banking, and like this. So this activity is activity to take place during the years from 2010 till 2020. Most important here is that the organization participated is part of them from UN group and also from the Arab specialized groups and others working in the region, which will help to improve the situation when conflict adaptation and mitigation.
Thank you. What actions contribute to reducing the risk of extreme events? Please describe an initiative in your country or your region that reduces disaster risk and helps people adapt to climate change.
In fact, ACSED has a long history here. Every year we introduce new varieties of cereal seeds, which is stress resistant, and for drought, for heat, also for chili. So it's those types every year is distributed for the 22 Arab countries and experimented in experimental fields. And the results all the time is very good, and I think that for instance, country like Syria, 40% of their wheat production is ACSED varieties. And it also has different names in Morocco, Libya, Algeria, used under different names. This is one of the activities we are doing. But also, ACSED, we are doing what we call toolbox. And the toolbox including a lot of activities. So since we are in charge of the water security in the region, so we have our integrated management system for water. And since we are in charge also for land cover maps and also in charge of food security. So we are introducing land use maps, and also we are working with the field of mapping soils and having kind of harmonization between the Arab countries. Let me tell you about one of the cases which we are really proud about. One city in Lebanon, in the northern part of Lebanon, called Al-Qa city. And this city, annually it's received flash floods, which really cause tremendous damage on agriculture, on buildings, and assets. So what we have done with the help of GTZ support, we managed to make many construction for water harvest. And at the end of the day, it's prevented. This costed about $35,000, not more, but prevented this city from a lot of damages. UNDP has recognized what happened, and they asked ACSED to do similar activity in many other places in Lebanon. But let me tell you that this has been expanded to Egypt, has been expanded to Saudi Arabia and Yemen and many other Arab countries. This is one of the activities which we are proud about.
What do you consider the way forward in linking climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction?
In fact, it is very interesting. I mean, climate change, if you look to it in an area where you have kind of vulnerable, immediately you think about if something is going to happen, like extreme events, it might turn into disaster. And I think that linking the two issues together is very important because adaptation is the key for climate change reduction, disaster reduction. And I believe that just linking the two together will help a lot to understand better, to draw plans for future interaction in much better understanding for the situation. So I believe it is very a good step, and I would like to see this really in better shape, hybrids constructed, appearing in the reports of the IPCC, and also with best practices appearing on the global assessment reports of the UNISDR, which will help the different countries to understand better how to act. And I think this is very much needed.
Why is this IPCC special report important, and how will it help governments deal with climate change and disaster risk?
Yeah, first of all, let me say that it is a great approach that we link the two together, first of all, because there is a need for this. Second, as I now participating in this, I can see from internal that a number of experts working, and the way it's going to be dealt with looks like it will bring a lot of success at the end. At least this is the first steps. Germans usually say, aller Anfang ist schwer. All the beginnings are difficult. But at the end, if it starts, so I think we can continue with it. And I think that the outcomes will be more and more than we expect now, because we are building something for the future.